What's up, guys? Luca here. Luca Teal. Woo! The Ash, the Ashen one, the Ashen Lucario, the Ashen Luca. It's me. I'm here for another episode of the show. So, I just got back from Florida a couple of hours ago, but I'm here and I'm very excited for the show. Actually, I'm so dedicated to the show that I deliberately made it so I would be back in time for the show, you know? And that's how much I love y'all. Exactly.
That's dedication.
Dedication. So yeah, I went to Tampa, Florida, um, yesterday morning, and I got back at 1 p.m. So I'm here. I'm excited to do the show. I had a lot of fun the last 24 hours or so, and yeah, how are y'all doing?
Pretty good. Can't
Hey,
complain. I don't complain.
likewise.
Sweet. What's up, Arcade, Brisky, Shadow, Drev? Uh, what's up, Lino? What's up, Pablo? Saying you didn't have to come back for us. I had to come back for y'all because I have nothing but love for you guys. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. So, what happened this week, fellers?
So much. Let's see here. Hellblade 2 is going to be 30 frames per second on Xbox.
Okay.
And what else happened? Let's see. Good grief! I feel like that's the some data came out about the most played games on all platforms, and Fortnite is at the top of it, like for every platform. And frankly, the entire list is dominated with live service games that have been around for over 7 years.
Oh, what are some of the other games on there, if you can remember?
Oh, let's see. Roblox, Minecraft, Call of Duty, Rocket League, Apex Legends, Grand Theft Auto 5, surprisingly enough. Every now and then you would see like an outlier depending on the platform. Switch had like 6 games that were Nintendo exclusive on theirs. And then they also had Hogwarts Legacy, which had only been out for like 2 months by the time like 2023 ended. PlayStation has 0 exclusive games on their list. And PC's got a bunch of...
Sorry, when's the last time PlayStation released an exclusive?
Well, that's this year. Oh, you mean for 2023?
Is that
Spider-Man 2.
Oh,
because
okay,
this whole list is for the year 2023. So
right,
there was Spider-Man 2. I think Spider-Man 2 might have been the only thing they released last year.
It was.
Yeah. So yeah, Spider-Man 2 did not crack the top 10. I think Helldivers 2 may do so this year for them. By the way things are going. But yeah, you know, it's I see a bunch of PC had a bunch of games that were even older. I would say their average years on the market was 9.6 years, but you got like stuff like League of Legends and Counter-Strike on that list.
I mean, it make and they're PC exclusives as well. Well,
right. So yeah, it was a pretty interesting list, and kind of really shows why PlayStation is trying to do so many live service games, because they're the only one that don't have an exclusive game on their top 10 list for 2023. But
yeah, man. I mean, it's tough when you only release one game. I mean,
what's Xbox's exclusive game on the list?
Starfield.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
I mean,
Starfield was number
exclusive.
8. For now. for now it's exclusive.
Okay.
But first party games, technically Call of Duty, Minecraft, Starfield. I feel like there was one more. And that's it. For actual exclusive games. But
sweet.
Yeah.
I mean, PlayStation is no surprise because most people buy the PlayStation for those third-party games anyway. So,
I feel like most people buy Yeah, PlayStation and Xbox for the third party. I mentioned this before,
Yep.
but I did some volunteer work with some young black boys. Emphasize black because the program is for young black boys and to help them get into IT and technical fields. And when I was speaking to them about their hobbies, a lot of them, they talked about they were into basketball, football, and then the ones who were into video games, no surprise, GTA 5 and
Of
Fortnite,
course.
and then Madden and 2K. Those were
Mhm.
the games that they talked about playing. So
And,
I'm
and
not
all those games are represented on the list. Yep.
yeah, so I'm not surprised by that at all, which makes me wonder about like Xbox's goal to reach Gen Z. With Gen Z's, I think that's 12 to 26, I believe. That's the current age range, and I'm very curious to see like what the goal is there. I would have to say, the live chat for the handheld would have to be really good in order for that to work out for Gen Z kids, 'cause a lot of them are playing the multiplayer games, and they wanna be able to talk to their friends on that, right? So it'd be something to do on the go, but they'd also need, like, a space in order to play those games, you know? If they wanted to pivot to Gen Alpha, that's more of the tablet generation and the mobile generation, if that's the thought process there.
Well, then, what on their handheld? Wouldn't you just put Xbox Live Pi chat on there anyway? So you can,
Mhm.
or
I probably
Discord,
would.
because Discord is working with the console manufacturers now. So, I mean, you could just put Discord on there, and Xbox Live Pi Xbox Live will be on there anyway.
Mhm.
So you may as well have party chat on there. So yeah,
There's a lot of
it's
talk about Xbox OS and Xbox OS, and if you one that can be basically the same very versatile operating system and UX for a handheld, a console, a PC, like all of that. Like you would basically just interface with that, and that definitely would have like their Xbox Live Party Chat, implementation in there with that too. My bad. Go ahead,
certainly
Singer.
no, certainly no Nintendo Switch options. You know.
Right, right. The Switch just tells you you got a phone, right? You got a phone, right? Well, shoot, use your phone. Get Discord on your phone. What are you doing? This we love Discord instead of actually implementing something themselves. But I mean, the way people are the rumors are. I mean, if you wanted to do Discord on the handheld, it would be like natively available there too as well, because it will essentially be a PC handheld by default, by its very foundation. So,
So
but
let
no,
me
that
ask I'm sorry, go ahead.
another thing that was pretty fascinating about this data is that 60% of playtime in 2023 went to games that are 6 years old or older, and all six of those games were live service games. So it's interesting. I think because so many publishers and platforms are trying to get into the live service game, but it's just not as easy as it appears, because it's hard to knock off those main games. It's hard to get people to pull people away from games that they are really, really invested in, especially if you play Fortnite and you've got like 100 skins in Fortnite.
Which I do.
Yeah, you spend a lot of money on that game. More than likely, you're going to you could play some other stuff for a little bit. Like you'll play the finals for a few months, but eventually you're going back to Fortnite. So it's difficult to kind of permanently pull people away from these games and get yourself into that top 10.
Yeah, I would say, like, it's a matter of, the content. Fortnite has a continuous stream of content, so that's why they're able to, perform at such a high level, while other live service games may struggle in that aspect as well, because it really is a matter of keeping your players engaged by having that constant stream of content, and I can say that as confidently as someone who was a Destiny whore for so many years, that was, like, the main cause of concern and why they switched to doing seasonal activities were uh they were but after a while, if it's repetitive and not engaging enough, uh, because Destiny was like that for me, eventually I did grow bored to the point where I just stopped playing altogether. And not only that, like, if a game is interesting enough in order to like, if it's good enough to pull you away from a live service game that you were heavily invested in, then that's kind of like a beginning of the end sort of thing, in my opinion, where it's just kinda like, "Well, what else have I been missing while I've been spending all of this time, like, focusing solely on playing this live service game, playing this multiplayer game," which is, undeniably, I had so much fun in Destiny 2, and I will always cherish my time in that game and the time I spent with the people I met and the gear I got, and I spent a lot of money in that game, right? But I don't feel any regret, and I don't have any problems, like, letting the game go despite how much money I've spent on it, because I'm just not interested anymore, you know? Like, I would never delete my characters or anything crazy like that, but I just, don't have any interest in continuing that particular title, and I it's I can't even think of any other live service game that would be able to, draw me in like that, and, I don't know if I'd want that, to be honest, because
Hey, can you share my screen real quick?
sure.
Go ahead.
Yeah, you lose so much time. You lose so much time. But
Also,
before we get into that, shout out to my boy Erodimus, who's gifted 5 memberships. I appreciate you so much. Thank you, man. As a member of the channel, you can submit topics for the show. Did anybody submit topics for the show this week? I actually, the last time I checked, there's nobody, because like nobody wants to talk to me. I guess, you know. Can you zoom in,
hey,
please?
Luca, before
I
you
can because it's a screenshot through Twitter.
Oh
I
no,
could
okay. Go ahead.
probably
No, you're
yeah,
good. Then
go
you're
ahead.
good. Go ahead, Singer.
before you jump into that, slightly different to what you're saying though is something unique like League of Legends. Now, League of Legends doesn't have any major content updates. It's the same Summoner's Rift you play day in, day out. The only thing that ever changes is a rotating special game mode, but they patch it every 2 weeks. There's a new patch, so the new balance patches. So some people get nerfed, some people get buffed, and they always release a brand new skin line, and that's the chase is the skins, obviously, because they're like, oh, we've released a whole bunch of new project skins that look really cool. They have the battle passes, which give you a free prestige skin at the end of it, which is really their battle pass is absolutely amazing because they basically just give you a free skin that's worth like $40, I think, somewhere around that. And you only pay $15 for the battle pass, so you're actually up in money. But the content loop is just you're playing the exact same maps. So there's no new maps or anything.
Well,
But
I would say that, PC gamers there's a different mindset for PC gamers who are like a PC gamer is different than a console gamer who plays on PC. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a different
Mm-hmm.
kind of gamer there. So when I like, when I speak on that content stream, I should clarify. I'm speaking about console players because they're the ones who have they're the ones who I'm more versed in because I am a console player who just happens to play on PC. You know what I'm saying? But I definitely hear what you're saying. I think there is 100% a different mentality there. It's like a PC player is like somebody who likes CS:GO, and genuinely plays that game.
And still rocks a 1060 GPU.
Yeah, and plays
or
Escapist
League of
Tarkov or
Legends,
League
which
of
could
Legends,
Yeah. And has no intention on upgrading anytime soon. Unless it breaks down on them. They ain't upgrading unless they got to.
Yeah, what's up? What's up, Poke? A Forte? What's up?
What up, though?
What's goody, my boy? It's
What's
been so long
goody?
since we talked.
I know. It's been crazy. Yeah, I know, because I worked I closed the last 2 Saturdays. That's why I wasn't here, so I had to make sure I was here today.
Appreciate you being here, guys. And guys, guess what? It was my birthday this week. It was my birthday on Wednesday. I'm now 31 years old.
She crossed the threshold.
1. Now,
You're so old.
Lionel on Twitter, I said I have 3 more years, right? And Lionel didn't know what I was talking about. It's because Lionel had told me a couple years ago that I have until 34 to get a man before it all goes downhill. That's what he said to me.
Oh
So
man,
3
not
more
like
years, right?
Wow.
3 more years until you're on the back end, huh? Good
I
God.
know, it's so bad. Like,
Dang.
Anyway, moving on from that. So yeah, man, like it's really interesting to see the games that are in the top 10, and there's no surprise there. What is yeah, there's really no surprise there. All of those games make sense to me. And yeah, man, I'm very curious. I'm so curious to see what they do with this Xbox handheld. I would want to ask you guys this for those who have had the portable PCs, like the ROG Ally, the Steam Deck. What do you think Xbox has to do different in order to compete with that niche market there?
Well, you could more link to your console, so like you can have direct sharing from it. You can make it more integrated. Because like the ROG Ally and the Steam Deck, they're third parties and they run similar software, but it's not really linked to the Xbox ecosystem. Whereas you could have, so for example, for the handheld, you could be on your Xbox and you could be in party chat playing with people, and you could just transfer from that to the handheld smoothly. Because I have the Steam Deck and it's super linked to Steam, as you know. Like
Mhm.
there's tons of features that link it to directly to Steam. So it's more of a companion to Steam than anything else.
So this would
So
be
I would,
more a companion that like Xbox.
yeah, and that's how it differentiates itself. Because the ROG Ally isn't a companion to anything; it just so happens to have Xbox and stuff on it.
Yeah, because let me tell you something about that fucking Xbox app on my ROG Ally. Pissed me off so badly, dude. Like, I don't even want to go
Exactly.
into it. It's so bad.
Yeah, I think they'll definitely improve the ease of use when it comes to their Xbox handheld compared to these other PC handhelds that are running Windows, but it's not like a seamless experience. It's not, and they'll still, I believe they'll offer like this kind of like streamlined OS to these other handhelds as well. But I think like maybe the best features may still be strictly with the Xbox itself, as well as if you are someone who is a console gamer coming from an Xbox, they're probably going to make sure that you can still play your back catalog of games that you already purchased, so that all that entitlement that you have for those games are still there as well. So,
Hmm.
but I mean, they're outside of that and making sure that I think they should make the docked experience be significantly more powerful than the handheld experience. But that's just me. I don't know if they'll do that for certain, but I
Hmm.
think that would definitely make it more a bigger draw than what those other handhelds do. And in addition to, I mean, it's going to be expensive, but if they could try to get it a little bit cheaper, that would probably do them better as well.
I think it's going to be a better draw or a bigger draw anyway, just because it's a first party piece of kit that's tied to an actual platform. You know, it's not like the ROG. It's not like something that's third party that just happens to do all the other things you want. It's going to be something that is promoted and marketed, from them, or what that can do for whatever for that ecosystem inside of Xbox. So, if you look at the Steam Deck and whatever the number is, 3 to 4 million of those. So, I can see this be something that's going to even surpass just that number alone, just for the fact that it's going to be coming. It's like you're looking at it from the marketplace of a console that, even if we're talking about how Xbox sales, 25, 30 million, no one really knows what the real number is. That's still a huge slot of people that will potentially buy into this handheld, just because of the ability to take it on the go and have that same Xbox experience on the go if they pretty much do it the way that it needs to be done. That's something that Nintendo realized when they decided to merge their two ecosystems together when it comes to the home console and constantly on the go. And even PlayStation came to that conclusion a long time ago. They just haven't come back around to it yet when it comes to the Vita and the PSP. So Xbox is, if this is what they're going to do, they just have to make sure that experience is Xbox, and it's the user experience is something you can't get anywhere else other than an Xbox console, and it plays seamlessly when it comes to all those experiences. So I think it can definitely outpace all these handhelds that aren't the Nintendo Switch or something like that. So it's a good starting point if that's actually where they go with it.
Well, let me ask you guys this: would you guys buy a Xbox handheld?
Unlikely.
Yeah,
To be honest, I actually would.
I don't know yet.
I think I would.
I don't have a problem breaking my laptop out if I want to play on the go. So that's
fair.
that's where I'm at. If I didn't have a laptop that can pretty much play games at least a 75 to 80% clip that my desktop can play them at, then I might be more interested in it. But not right away. But you know, we're all tech heads here, so if it's compelling, if it's compelling enough, then people are going to jump in.
Well,
That's the one thing.
Here's the thing. See, because obviously, when you already have a Steam Deck, right, you'll be like, well, what's the point in having that? But if it's more seamless and
yeah,
it's more linked in specifically for the Xbox games, then and the features are all engineered around that, then and let's say, you know, I could use this as my Game Pass machine because, you know, having to because then I could keep the Steam OS on the Steam Deck because I wouldn't have to install Windows.
Yeah.
So that's a headache out of the way. So if that's the case, then I could just keep the Steam Deck as is, don't have to modify it, and then just use that to play anything I want to play on Game Pass, for example. So
yeah, I would listen. I know I said I wouldn't buy another Xbox, but I'm a bit of a technology whore.
Exactly.
So, like, I'm like, oh, maybe, you know, like if
Maybe.
if it's interesting enough, then I'll get it. But I only need one good reason to spend my money. Honestly, you know? I mean, I guess we'll see. We'll definitely have to wait and see on this.
Steam Deck 2 will be out by then as well.
Yeah, and also
Steam
the
Deck
ROG
2 I think Steam Deck 2 will be out next year. I think about
But-
it. And that's the
ROG
most
Ally 2,
successful
probably.
PC handheld there is right now.
And that's the
The
one I'm
thing
waiting
is-
for. The only
thing
reason I
is,
didn't get one yet.
Well, I already had one because, you know, the hype when it launched. And obviously, you know, everyone was super hyped. So, you know, we all jumped in on it. So yeah, I'd definitely get the second one.
Yeah.
But it's like, because it's running Steam OS, providing everything checks out with the Xbox One, then if it just does the same things, then I just won't bother. But, you know, we'll see how it goes. See what the features are.
Yeah, definitely. It's gonna be interesting when it finally comes around for them to actually talk about that.
What's
Go ahead.
up,
You want to get your super chat?
Shout
Or
out
your
Blade
memo.
X, who's been a member for 6 months, saying, "You need a man, I need a green card. We can make it work, baby." Shout out to you, my guy. What's up, Fonzie? Fonz says the Switch 2. Man, that Switch 2 is not coming out anytime soon, man.
Nah, man, Nintendo, man. I don't know what's going on with them in that. You know, shout out to you, Luca. It sounded like you were getting real emotional talking about your Games of the Service experience over the course of the last 6-7 years.
Yeah. Oh, shout out to Dylan. Happy birthday, Dylan. Dylan's turning 32. My millennial.
Shout out to you, Dylan.
Aries King.
Happy
What's up,
birthday.
Dube? How you doing, buddy? Let me say hi to more people in the chat. What's up, Blessed? What's up, Saber? What's up, Blue Moon? What's up, Spider? How's it going? Erodimus, goody. What's goody, my boy? What's up, Soja? What's up, Octocon? Okay. What's up? What's up, Gregor? How's it going? 31 is practically expired. I know.
No.
What's up, Dorian? What's up, Here's Down Under? Yes, I agree with that.
Almost expired.
What's up, Ren?
Wow.
What's up, Leaky? What is up? Yeah. What's up, guys? How are y'all doing this fine evening? What's up, Vac? How's it going? All right.
31 is not that old, guys. Let's be for real here.
Oh, it's not.
It's not like when y'all making it seem like when y'all go in your refrigerator to get milk and y'all look at the thing and it says it's 3 days away from being expired and you're wondering if you should drink it or just pour it out at this point. That's not where we at with this.
Oh,
we
yeah.
ain't here yet.
I get a real kick about the age thing because I don't. I look so young that it does not matter. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
No.
man. It's
maybe if I was aging poorly, I maybe I would care more. But the only thing that's aging is my soul. You know, the only thing that's aging is my body as I start to fall apart. Can't eat certain things. Can't move the way I want without something creaking. You know, like.
I know that feeling.
Exactly. But other than that, like, since I don't look older, I don't really care. It doesn't bother me, you know? And
Man,
Lionel's like, "Will you settle, Luca?" I don't see the point in settling. If I've been single all this time, then what's the point of settling? I might as well just stay
settle,
single, you know?
settle. What's that? That's a cuss word.
I'm definitely not settling for anyone who's gonna get on my nerves. I know that much. But yeah, man. So dirty 31. You know what I'm saying? I
What?
30, 31. Wipe that filth off.
I know it's so fucking
It's
ridiculous.
like you crossed over to 30 and you just ran through the mud. It's
I
like,
know.
what? No. It's
The
good out
two
here.
the two girls I hung out with this weekend, one is 23 and the other one is 26, and I'm just like, ugh,
Oh, I
man,
remember.
dust age. I am dust age, and they're just like, wow, yeah.
No, man, my wife the other day, we was just talking about, we talk about work and stuff sometimes because she's a manager, I'm one. So we just talk about people and experiences and stuff. And she actually pulled out she was like, yeah, these kids coming in here getting on my nerves, all these old whippersnappers. I was like, what? I was like, no, we are not that old. We are not going to use the
Gotta
stuff that
accept it, man.
we said we are not going to use the words that our grandmas used to say, like these young whippersnappers are getting on my nerves and all this. No, we are not that old. When she said that, I was like, good God, man, we are getting old.
It's so cool because when I first met you guys, like I was like 24, 25 or something.
I know.
And
We
now
was in
I'm
the 30s.
30 fucking 1. How crazy is that? Like I know that all the, Slow-mo especially was counting down the years. He was like, I can't wait for this fucking bitch to hit 30. So I can get her
But guess what, Luca? You can always say, but guess what? Both your ankles were broke before I hit 30.
My ankles are fine.
But your knees
Over my
aren't.
knees. My back is a different story, but everything else is great. Okay.
Nah, dude, I think aging is a blessing.
It
I think
is.
that
You're
is
still
something.
here.
Yeah, it's something to be grateful for because a lot of people can't say the same thing, So I think it's something. I don't think there's anything wrong with aging. I think people should embrace it. Because it's better than the alternative, right?
Oh
Seemingly.
man, Clifton said he joined his community at 15. Man, we messed this man whole
God
childhood up.
damn!
Oh man,
We messed
I
this
wish I
man's
would have known.
childhood
I would
up.
have said I would have been speaking differently. This
That's
guy's
why Clifton got all this stuff on you. It's like, man, y'all done polluted me at a young age.
Fon's like, my elbows even hurt at this age. God damn! Like, okay.
Oh man, this is funny.
Oh man, that's so crazy. No, I hear you guys. Fon's like my kids trip when I use slang because I hear it all the time. Oh man, we do a gaming podcast, Luca. A lot of these folks are in their 20s. That's true. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I hear you, man. I definitely hear you on that. I definitely hear you. Yeah, I
When it comes to
appreciate the
podcast,
Fonz. Fonz, let me know if you want to come on and hang out with us. Let me know. But yeah, I wake up in pain. Yeah, like me and my one coworker, he's 33, and then my other coworker is 42. So me and my one coworker will be joking about our ages, and the 42-year-old one will be like, ha! You guys don't even understand the half of it yet. Wait till you're my age. I'm just like, God damn, like, all right. Let's hit the phono. Oh, okay, sweet. No worries, man. Drive safe. But yeah, so all right, so let's go ahead and get into this Xbox topic. So Hellblade 2 is a 30 FPS. We
Of
recently
course.
Oh, okay. We'll get into that in a second. So this was recently announced a couple of days ago that Hellblade 2 is going to be 30 frames per second. Now, me personally, I was not on Twitter all that much that day just because I was really busy. But I did see that there was some anger. There was some back and forth with some folks, some old tweets from Mr. Greenberg himself, Greeny, started circulating. Started circling the wagon. You know what I'm saying. So, guys, like, are we shocked by this? Are we surprised? Now, Singer says, of course, like it's like obvious, and of course,
Yeah,
it's 30 FPS.
it was obvious when they said Unreal Engine 5.
Mhm.
Given how anemic the consoles are, even when they released, and like you can upgrade. Like there's only so much you could do with it because you can't upgrade the components. And even the PS5 Pro ain't making improvements in the CPU department. And as we're finding out, the CPU is especially this gen, the CPU is a kicker versus the GPU side of things. Because a lot of games now just seem to be CPU bound for whatever reason.
Mhm.
So, and Hellblade 2 being 30, not surprised. You look at the visuals, you're like, this looks amazing. And then you're like, but what are the concessions? Your frame rate is your concession for everything you're seeing on screen.
Mhm.
And you could say, well, they could have added a 60 FPS mode, which they could have, but it's maybe they decided we don't want to make the concession because we work so hard on these visuals. We want them to pop. So here, enjoy it.
Can't
And
those visuals still pop on the quality mode?
I mean, yeah, they could, but it's up to the studio to decide what they want to do, right? And if they thought,
Right,
well,
and it's up to the gamer to determine whether they find that acceptable or not. Right.
well, I mean, they were enjoying 30 FPS for the last like 15 years. So I
All right,
mean,
and the last 5 years they've been enjoying 60. So why are we going back to 360 era?
I mean,
Oh,
Dragon's Dogma 2. I
Oh,
mean,
man.
like what? You can
Didn't that get
complain
the
too?
smoke for its performance?
Oh,
It did get the
man.
smoke.
Oh,
Not
so why is Hellblade
Yeah.
2 any different?
Well, it
And
should
by the
get
way,
smoke
it's
for
30
the
frames per
performance.
second for Hellblade 2 dynamic resolution, which means that the game will be lowering the resolution in order to maintain that 30 frames per second.
1800p.
Of course.
Let's go.
So who
Yeah.
knows what actual resolution it'll be at? It looks amazing, but are we actually seeing PC footage or are we seeing Xbox footage for the most part?
But then
Before you get
again,
into that, can you send me that list of games, like the top games played, Slow-mo? And
Sure.
where did you get that from? Like what article is that from?
Twitter.
Okay, yeah. I'll find it. I'll send it to you.
Okay, thank
the
you.
thing is, though, Slow-mo, how many Unreal Engine 5 games have we had so far, and how many of them had a 60 FPS mode? Like Immortals of Avium? That ran absolutely
Fortnite.
horrible.
Fortnite.
Fortnite got retro, but you look at that's not exactly pushing the graphic boundaries. Let's be real. So Fortnite is, even with the upgrade, Fortnite doesn't look significantly better than what it did on Unreal Engine 4. Like it just
what? Hey,
what you're telling me there
I
was a
sent you that
gigantic
screenshot, Luca.
Thank you so much,
But-
man.
between Fortnite on Unreal Engine 4 and Fortnite on an Unreal
have
Engine
you?
5.
When's the last time you played Fortnite on Unreal
Yesterday.
Engine 4? On Unreal Engine 4? I don't think you remember how it looked. It's the same art style, but as far as visual, like the visuals, it's a very easy difference. It's not like you're like, I can't tell which one is Unreal Engine 5. You definitely know which one is Unreal Engine 5. When you have Lumen and Nanite on, I mean, you can tell the difference on PC between DX11 and DX12.
Well, yeah, but it's not a huge upgrade. It's certainly not Immortals of Hellblade 2, because Immortals of Avium is just a shit show anyway. So we could discount that. So outside of those 3 games, what other Unreal Engine 5 games have we had?
This game is coming out this summer, but it's had multiple betas where it's averaged at 60 frames per second on consoles. With the first Descendant is on Unreal Engine 5, and it is a looter shooter, and it's been averaging 60 frames per second on consoles, and it's Unreal Engine 5.
Hey, good job to them. God
damn.
The thing is, the first Descendant looks good, but it's got that. It's certainly not a Hellblade 2 visual showcase.
Well, I mean, it's a different art direction. Like Hellblade 2 is going for like hyper realism in its visuals, whereas I mean, like
the first Descendant is a good looking game.
It's a very good looking game, but you can definitely tell the art direction. This is a Korean studio, so you kind of know the kind of art direction that they like to go for. It's not going to be hyper realistic, but it will look good, and you'll definitely get the people throwing money down for their favorite outfit for that one character where the cheeks hanging out kind of deal, right?
Oh man. No.
Well, yeah, of
like
course.
Fortnite has a particular art direction that allows for a very a simplistic look, but at the same time, when you look at the environment, the fact that this is a massive map, like that makes things difficult to be able to do that and still maintain 60 frames per second. Like that's not, like, you can't just point to the art direction and say, oh, that's easy to run in Unreal Engine 5. It's not, because of the what the map is doing, with what they're doing with this huge area. It's very different.
True. But because of the style they chose for Hellblade 2, and given the fact that the consoles aren't exactly the most powerful right now, perhaps that is a limitation of the hardware. That's to get the visuals they needed. They had to make this compromise to make something that looks like Hellblade, the super ultra realistic art style.
I don't think they had to. They chose to. It's a choice to not put more development time in to make sure you have a performance mode that is not utilizing nanite and lumen. In order, you could do more traditional techniques for reflections and lighting in order to get an image that is decent looking, but not looking like the quality mode. I mean, we've seen this for forever when it comes to games that have a quality and performance mode. Clearly, the performance mode doesn't look like the quality mode, but it's not supposed to. It's supposed to give you a decent image with 60 frames per second on consoles. That's what it's supposed to do. Now, when you develop a game and you don't even have that option, that was a choice you made at the very beginning of development. And you could have chosen to go a different route, but you chose not to. It isn't we can't do this. It's we didn't want to do this. And so if you are a console gamer who didn't like that, doesn't like that, the fact that you're going to have to do the combat sections in 30 frames per second, I understand. And you're justified in feeling that way, considering it's less than a month away from launch, and now they let you know that there is no performance mode. But that's also why my name is what it is today.
Well, yeah, of course.
You don't have these issues on PC. So I would say to you, Xbox gamer that's upset about this, and that's not everybody, not everyone's upset, but the people who are upset, you know what to do.
But I don't think this game either needs a 60, because as they specified,
oh my God,
I think every game needs a 60.
Stop it!
Every game needs a 60, but
this isn't a Telltale game, Singer. It's not a walking sim. Okay,
no. But it's the combat is only one-on-one. There is no group combat. There is no. They told you what the combat is. It's literally just you versus one other person. That's it. That's all the combat ever is. Yeah, they said that.
No, that's not how it was in Hellblade 1. You fought multiple enemies in Hellblade 1.
No, but in Hellblade 2, that's what they said when they put it out. Yes, it's one-on-one combat.
Where did they say that?
Just put out the article, I do believe.
Can you find it and link it for me?
I'm staying out of this one.
Yes.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I did want to say this. Okay, so here are my thoughts on it. Me personally, I'm not interested in Hellblade 2, mostly because, again, and I've mentioned this before, I played Hellblade 1, and I know it sounds stupid, but the voices started to get to me, so I stopped playing. I was going through a rough time during that period, and I was just like, this is fucking with me, so let me just stop playing, right? So I'm most likely not going to play Hellblade 2 because I didn't beat Hellblade 1, right? The game, I will acknowledge fully that it looks absolutely beautiful. It is gorgeous, right? I think they did a great job with it. But I said this when they still neglected to show us what the gameplay was going to be, when I was just like, why is it taking so long for them to show us the gameplay? And then I was just like, oh, the gameplay is probably going to look a lot like Hellblade 1, which there's no problem with that per se. But, and, we have to get the game in our hands, of course, to see the kind of updates they've done to the gameplay when, actually playing it, and what kind of skill updates and how the movement, how that feels and everything like that. You don't really know until you know, right? Because obviously, that being said, like, certain games have a different gameplay feel. Like Mass Effect 1 feels different from Mass Effect 2 playing it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it's not automatically like, oh, and also Dragon Age 2 feels different from Dragon Age Origins, so just because it's a sequel or the next game in the franchise doesn't necessarily mean it's going to play 100% like the game prior. Even Spider-Man 2 plays differently in some aspects than Spider-Man 1, right? So, but yeah,
Right.
I was like, okay, so the gameplay is probably going to be highly similar, and that's why they're not showing anything until as of late, right? Now, again, I was surprised to hear that they were not going to have a performance mode, but it also does make sense given the hyper fixation and focus that they put on um, on the visuals, on making it very realistic. That was all they would talk about for a very long time whenever we would hear about this game. So it's something that they've taken pride over, and it's something that they genuinely care about. Now, I am definitely, in some aspects, I do believe in the concept of allow the developers to make the kind of game that they want to play, or make the kind of game they want to make, right? Like, this is what they want to make. But at the same time, I'm with Slow-Mo. I don't think there's anything wrong as gamers in criticizing those choices as well, because at the end of the day, we are consumers. It's not just them making artwork um, for artwork's sake. They expect it to be consumed, right? They expect people to spend their money on it, or play it on Game Pass, right? So, as consumers, I think consumers, uh, when it comes to spending our money, we have the right to criticize and critique certain things. And I feel like critiquing a lack of a performance mode is a valid feeling. I definitely feel like it's valid for the people who do want to play this and are disappointed that there's no performance mode. I completely understand. I think you are justified in your feelings 100%. All right, hold on one second. Now, shout out to Face 23 BKNY. What up, my boy? Appreciate the big dono saying Unreal Engine 5 games that run at 60 FPS are RoboCop, Immortals of Avion, Fortnite, and Remnant 2.
Okay,
Oh, yeah.
forgot Remnant 2 was
I forgot.
Unreal Engine 5. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. And
Great
then,
game.
really great game. You don't have to say. I already know what you guys are thinking. You don't have to say it. We will get back into the game, okay? I'm sorry. All right. Shout out to Blade X saying, my man, brother, Singer's capping his ass off today. Appreciate the dono, my brothers. And then shout out to Me Puppet saying, all you frame rate elitists just need to settle down. As long as the game is quality, that's all that matters. For the record, I own all the systems. He's saying, fuck you.
So do we. We own all the systems too. And we still have our opinions, Meat Puppet. I mean, like you can't tell other people how they should, like what they should prioritize as important to them. If they feel frame rates are more important than the quality of the visuals, that's their preference.
That's true.
Before you go, Singer, real quick. Yeah. And I did also want to say this. Now, me personally, frame rate has never and will never stop me from playing a game. All right. Unless it's like unplayable. Okay, but that being said, I did play Dark Souls 1 on the PS3. And the frame rate dropped to like 13 and 14 FPS and like now. Yeah, I know. And I still was able to beat that game. So, bitch, we don't know. I don't know. But I will say this, like frame rate, if I love a game enough and I'm having enough fun with the game, I can play a game that's 30 FPS and be perfectly fine playing it. I have a preference. It all comes down to a preference, right? I have a preference. But again, I completely understand why people would be disappointed, but I also understand the people who are like, I'm still going to play the game. It sucks, but it's not really a problem for me.
There was one more super chat from Face 23 BKNY.
Oh, sweet. Oh, shout out to you, my guy. My bad. Appreciate the big dono saying, when it comes to the PS5 first-party games, we don't need a PC to play the games at 60 FPS. Microsoft needs to give their players options like Sony does. Appreciate the big dono, my guy. I mean, yeah, like as far as I know, all of PlayStation's first parties give you a performance mode and a
sure do,
and a
quality mode and performance mode. Yeah,
man, like it's the brain fog. But yeah, so I definitely understand that as well. And if we get back to Greeny's statements, Aaron Greenberg did say that. What did he say? Oh Lord, have fucking mercy, my brain.
The backpedal? You mean the initial statement or the backpedal statement?
I want the initial statement and then I found it. So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen and we get to go ahead and take a look at it. So Mr. Greenberg said 60 FPS will be the standard output. Hold on 1 second. Okay, 60 FPS will be the standard output. But the architecture allows us to support up to 120 FPS. Tom Warren was just like, hold on, my boy. Wait a second. We had a conversation about this. And this is, you said Microsoft tells me that ultimately it's up to the developers to determine how much they leverage the power and speed of the Series X. And Aaron elaborated and said developers always have flexibility in how they use the power. So a standard or common 60 FPS is not a mandate, right? Now, me and Slomo had a conversation about this. And I said, standard means that it is the norm, right? So saying that it's not a mandate, but it's still the standard, like it kind of contradicts itself. That being said, most games give us the option for a performance mode or a quality mode. So technically, having a performance mode is a standard that we have, right? But it's not like there's some games that don't give you the performance mode, so they're outliers. So they're not part of that standard. They are outliers. And Hellblade 2, Starfield, Gotham Knights. What was the other one that was 30 FPS? Oh,
You said
Redfall.
Starfield, Gotham Knights, Redfall for 6 months or so. There are more, but I can't. Well, Dragon's Dogma 2 just came out. That one doesn't have. It's just uncapped frame rate, which the best the consoles can do is like 30, between 36 to 43 frames per second. So definitely not 60. Yes, Aramis, the Plague Tale Requiem is 30 frames per second on consoles as well. That's a proprietary engine that Asobo has. Let's see here. I
True Bleed.
can't think of anything else. It hasn't been a lot of games this generation that have been just 30 frames per or no 60 frames per second option.
Exactly, which means that 60 FPS is a standard. So he didn't lie technically.
Well, it depends on the definition of standard you want to use, but sure, because all the cappers were using, all the cappers were using a measurement of quality version of standard versus the a average or common, kind of thing, which is like the third definition. But it's if you look it up on Google, which is funny.
Definitely 100%. Dorian's like, Xbox can't mandate. You can't mandate third party. I'm like, that's right. But guess what's not third party? It's fucking Starfield, a Plague Tale Requiem isn't third party, right?
It is because that's a multiplayer game. It's just they maintain flight sim for Xbox.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, so but fucking Starfield, Hellblade, and Redfall are first party, and yet they are.
And they're saying in the chat that to be fair, guys, in the chat, they're saying that it got a 60 FPS mode. That, from what I recall, and maybe this is just Digital Foundry, and maybe they patched it since then. Their option for a 60 FPS mode does not maintain 60 frames per second. It does, like from what I remember, it doesn't do that. Especially when like a lot of the rats show up, is when the frame rate tanks, if I recall. So
it's a very heavy on the engine game when it comes to those kinds of visuals.
Very demanding game,
very demanding. So I understand why. It just sucks, especially like you're not gonna trick me again. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have fallen for this shit for years now, and now I'm just at this point where it's like, okay, if I want to play a game at a higher frame rate, I'll just play it on PC.
Hey, Luca,
I'm not gonna get what I want when it comes to these consoles. Yes.
All right, so it's from a preview, the preview of the game, and it's by GameSpot, and you'll see they show you what the combat is.
Okay.
Could you see it?
Yeah, I can see it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's get. Here we go.
So that's you see how that's just not 1-on-1. There's more people on screen. There's more enemies on screen, right?
There is on screen, but watch this now. You could see but there was like 3 people on screen, and there was only a 1-on-1 fight. But see, that's the combat right there.
I think
You
what
just
okay, I think also what Singer might be saying is that they do wait. It seems like they wait their turn. It doesn't seem like they
it's
gang up on you.
see it's not. And look how it's not fast paced combat. Like, what about this is fast paced? It's
Well, that's because
literally
it's
just
running at 30 frames per second. I mean, but
yeah. But I mean, it's 1-on-1 combat, so
Well,
I
I
mean,
mean, Dragon's Dogma is running at 30, but that Thief
See?
build is like super like.
well, you saw that clip running in my gameplay where the
Mhm.
frame rate was at like in the city, it was at like 75 frames per second.
Okay. So you're saying the Thief gameplay is not that sexy on console?
I don't know. I haven't played it on console and never will. So
you
I don't know.
see all these.
I don't know for
see all
certain.
these- You notice all these fights are 1-on-1, and then in that last scene you saw there, they transitioned from which was it? Once you
No, I did
defeated,
see it. You killed one guy and then the other person
Yep.
stepped up.
Right now,
They're waiting.
there were sections like that in Hellblade 1, but I do recall fighting an enemy and being attacked by an enemy behind me at the same you would have to kind of hit the button to kind of like look behind you to see what the guy behind you was trying to do. But yeah, you would mostly fight people 1-on-1, but when you had multiple people in like the little fighting arenas, like you did have to kind of, it's like there is no, for example, like in Arkham games where you can kind of do a counter and then it goes to full animation into that counter kind of do, the Arkham kind of combat. It's not like that, but at the same time, like in the first game, you could be attacked by people off screen or people behind you. So that's when, instead of just them just waiting their turn. So that's why I was confused by that part.
I don't think you can say definitively that the combat is solely 1-on-1, Singer, and that's what it sounded like you were saying.
From the previews, that is what they're saying is 1-on-1 combat.
They're saying it in the video, like verbally, they are saying it.
Yes.
Okay, you can play that. Find the clip where they're saying it and play it. Then, what's up, Cassie girly? Hey, boo, how you doing?
Let me go back to it. Which game spot? They also revealed there'll be a photo mode.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not that that's a big reveal. They also, but I was someone else because it's all the details were released by Polygon, Games Radar, GameSpot, and Game Informer, and they all reported different things, which I found was kind of weird. But I guess they all wanted their own little exclusive. So apparently, ambitious narrative, best in class visual fidelity. It looks good. All fight animations are fully mocapped, so every fight in the game is fully mocapped. So I guess that's the thing.
I thought that was the case for the last game as well, about every fight being fully mocap.
The team is apparently 680 people. Environmental puzzles return, which I absolutely... I see.
Oh, those puzzles are absolutely awful.
They're back. Yeah.
Oh my god, I can't. All right, look, I'm still playing the game, but man, I'm definitely as long as they're not like, my biggest issue with those puzzles, it was like you literally had to stand in a particular like spot and look in a particular direction in order to unlock the puzzle. And some of the problems I had is that you would stand in that position and you knew this is where you needed to be, and the game still wouldn't just accept that you got it, like an unlock, and you would have to kind of like play around with it, like you would have to do a little dance with Senua's with the thumbstick, trying to like get it to see, hey, look, I'm here, I'm here now, unlock already, I'm looking in the right direction, and it's just like, yo, this puzzle sucks, this is a bad puzzle.
I vaguely recall some of the puzzles. I fucking hate puzzles in games, man. They trigger me real bad. Oh, and the worst puzzles were in maybe not the worst, but the ones that like I remember because it sticks to my mind and I still think about it to this day are the fucking puzzles from Mass Effect Andromeda. Like I just can't let it go, man. I just
Oh
can't let
yeah,
it go.
Sudoku. They basically just put Sudoku in the game. It's just like what? What? Like what is this? This is so basic. Oh man, New Age Bioware sucks.
Yeah, I mean, what do you think, Nautical, about this topic?
I have a PC, so I don't care. Once again, I didn't buy my Xbox Series X for any of the promises that Microsoft gave me, so it doesn't bother me. I mean, I don't like the fact that it's still a scenario out there where we aren't getting 60 frames per second on a consistent basis, but I like I said before, I don't buy things until they give me a reason to buy it or I have a reason to buy it. And Hellblade and being at 60 frames per second wasn't the reason I bought it. I mean, everybody on this panel know why I bought my Series X and they know why I bought my Xbox One X. I had a reason to buy them, so I don't feel cheated by not being able to play these games at 60 frames per second on my console. Does it suck? Absolutely, but it doesn't bother me as much as it bothers other people.
It's not bothering you because you have a PC that you can play it on.
No, it wouldn't bother me, no, because when I bought my console, I bought it for a particular reason. I didn't buy it with the promises that Microsoft was going to give me something that they've never given me before. This is the thing that people got to remember. People go out and buy all this stuff. And listen, and if you want to if people just come out and just say they're just tech heads, I understand it. That's the thing. People buy things because they like new things, but you can't get mad when you can't get mad when you purchase something. No, when you purchase something with the knowledge of knowing that they have not lived up to the expectations for the last generation and a half to give you what you wanted. So
that absolves them of any kind of marketing that says otherwise?
I didn't say it absolves them. I'm just saying it's just like anything else. It's like two wrongs don't make a right. They wrong for not giving it to you, but you was wrong for believing it. You was wrong for having the faith.
So we blaming the consumer is what we're doing. You sound like a GameStop manager right now. That's
Slow. Think about it like this: is when we had that conversation where I was talking about how one of the executives, I was telling her about how USB Type C is going to be the standard, right? And how it was better than Lightning. And then she's like, if it's better than Lightning, then why is it called Lightning? And I was just like, marketing.
Why is it called Lightning?
Because of marketing.
It's marketing, right?
Some people just don't know, man. They just don't know. You know?
But the biggest thing, it just ultimately just comes back to the fact that buy it when they give you people buy things because they're excited about it. I get it. It's great to be excited for a brand new piece of tech. It's great to be excited. Like we talked about the Xbox handheld earlier. The first thing I said is I have a laptop. I don't need this handheld. Now, if they give me a reason to have that handheld, I'm going to go out and buy it. But guess what? There's going to be a bunch of people that's going to go out and buy that handheld, and they're going to be probably super disappointed if they don't get the things that they want on it. Because guess what? We're like, if you believe that Xbox is going to give you what you want on that handheld before it's even future-proofed out, whose fault is this?
I mean, you do have a responsibility as a consumer to be mindful of the products
of the things that you're buying. It's like
I'm
not saying that, but the whole black and whiteness of it's like it's all this person's fault or all that person's fault is like, no, I'm not down with that.
No, it's not. We're not saying, but we're basically melting it down.
I'm not saying that, but you are saying something.
Listen, I'm melting it down to the very subsurface of everything that's happening here. If people stop going out and purchasing things just because they're super excited for it and actually waited for things that actually come out that benefited them right then and there, they wouldn't be mad and hurt when a company goes out of that. Not even go out of their way. When a company goes out, it doesn't support the thing that they wanted for an entire generation. They wouldn't be upset because guess what? They would have made the decision if they really cared. Think about it. If you really cared about performance as much as these people complain like they do, would you have bought a console? You wouldn't have bought a console. You would have, if performance was just as important to you as everybody keeps saying it is on Twitter or X or whatever we want to call it now, if it was that important, then people would have bought consoles. Consoles would have been out the window a long time ago. No, people are playing.
That's fair,
hold on.
well,
That's
hold on,
very
hold on,
much not fair.
Yeah, I don't think that's fair because it's like at the same time,
No.
for the One X and now for the Series X, they did make the power narrative to be something as a highlight. They made the power narrative as the highlight. You know what I'm saying? Like again,
Did they
talked about 60 FPS.
But did they deliver on any of that stuff before the end?
I understand what you're saying, but I'm also saying that these consoles are more powerful than the predecessors. They're held to a different standard based on that power.
Did they give it to you before now?
I feel like you're not understanding what I'm saying.
No, I'm saying they're more powerful systems.
Do you understand what I'm saying, Slomo?
They're more powerful systems.
I understand what you're saying.
I told you what they should have did a long time ago is drop 1440p and make them 1440p, 60 frames per second machines. I said that the moment that they came out. I said, why are they promoting 4K when it should be 1440p, 60 frames per second?
I understand.
That's what it should be. But they want to come out with this 4K monitor and basically tell everybody that, oh, you're getting better fidelity, better visuals, but we're still stuck with 30 frames per second.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. But they did also highlight the 60 FPS, and even Aaron Greenberg and also the PlayStation's own website talked about going up to 120 FPS. They made that a highlight for these consoles.
As well as Aaron Greenberg.
And that's why I said there's faults on both sides.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely don't think
they eat monsters for breakfast.
And once again, why are we believing? Well, I get it. If we're just taking
the power delta,
if we're taking the words that these people say without them living up to an ounce of it over the course of a whole generation, then yep, you're absolutely right.
I understand what you're saying. I'm just saying, like, based on the specs, it is possible.
Oh, it's definitely possible.
It is possible to get 60 FPS in these games, and it is possible to get 120 FPS in these games.
If they drop the S, it's definitely possible.
It's definitely not.
It's more than possible even with the S. It's the developer that chooses not to do so.
Yeah, they're prioritizing other things.
Like, I understand what you're saying, Nautical, but I'm saying it's not just their word. I'm saying that these consoles are capable of this. So
I agree.
When people are believing what is being sold to them, so to speak, it's not just the word of the people who are marketing the console. Like, the consoles can do it. Therefore, it's not 100% the fault of the consumer when the console does not live up to the expectations that were set.
I would never say it's 100% of the consumer.
We've seen that they're capable, so I understand what you're saying when you're like, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, still shame on you for still trying to fool me. Like, that's not a good thing to do. But at the same time, there is a measure of responsibility to be taken as a consumer, to be mindful of what you're spending your money on. But at the same time, again, these consoles are capable of hitting these frame rates, so it's not just okay, the consumers are stupid. It's more so
consumers are.
It's
no,
not
we'll
as.
Never say that.
I know you're not saying it's as black and white, but you did start off saying that. And now you are easing into a more measured.
I like that word. More measured.
A more measured perspective.
More measured perspective on the scenario. No, listen. I'm 0 to 100 on this because I've been like this my whole entire life when it comes to this stuff. When it comes to giving me the value of what I actually pay for. I love technology. Trust me, I'll be the first one to come out and tell you, like, dude, I bought this thing and I bought it just because I wanted to buy it. Like my PlayStation 5. I get no benefit out of my PlayStation 5. I know that as a gamer. I bought a $500 piece of tech to play a particular couple of games on it. I get the value. My value proposition is through the ground on my PlayStation 5. And I absolutely understand that. I understand it as a gamer. I can't be mad at any of the decisions that happened with that system because I decided to buy it for this particular reason, and that's fine. But when it comes to Xbox, I threw the power and performance narrative out the window so long ago. It's particularly just with their games, because like I said, it's what they tell me. I don't believe anything they say until I actually see proof of it on a consistent basis. And
I mean, yeah, that's fair.
that's just how I feel about it. But like you said, you're absolutely right about what you're saying, because it's not as black and white for a lot of people. A lot of people are super emotional when it comes to the things that they purchase and why they purchase them, and I understand that.
What when you said your expectations are through the floor for the PS5? I mean, I understand you don't play it.
Well, it's just because
you say
just on the amount of the games that I buy and play, I don't expect anything. So I can't get mad if PlayStation does something. That's what I'm saying. I can't get mad if PlayStation does or says anything in particular when it comes to stuff that I may not like. Well, I bought the system because I bought it for a particular reason, so I can't get upset at stuff like that. That's why I just don't get upset at when these corporations do things, because I buy it for particular things.
Okay.
I did want to ask you this. So Albert in the chat, Slomo, he wants an explanation as to why Hellblade is 60 on PC, but not 60 on Xbox if Xbox is capable of running the game at 60.
Oh, there's a very simple answer for that. It's because on PC, we have the freedom to customize our experience as much as possible, regardless of the hardware. You have the choice. Even if you have a PC that is weaker, maybe not too much weaker, but weaker than the Xbox Series X, your PC version of Hellblade 2 is going to have in the settings all of the graphical settings that are there, and they're going to be low, medium, high, ultra, whatever they want to call it. And you can toggle those settings as you choose and then test and see how that changes your experience. And with frame rate counters, you can see whether you're finally hitting 60 frames per second if you have a PC build that isn't the top of the line. You could have a mid-end PC and still hit 60 frames per second with no problem, because you are toggling those settings to make sure you get the experience that you want.
Yep.
That's why.
Yep, that's true.
So I mean, ultimately, at the end of the day, again, I can understand being disappointed 100%, especially if you are someone who wants to play the game, and and I definitely understand that, right? But at the same time, oh man, what point was I got distracted. I'm sorry, guys. Okay, I'm sorry. Like, my brain is just not where it's supposed to be. I'm sorry. Go, Singer. Is this the where they
Yes,
say
this
it?
is.
Okay, go ahead and play it.
What they say?
This is from the start. He just says that they went out to Cambridge to the studio for the preview of the game. So this is what they got from visiting and seeing the game.
2 makes it feel tense, as if life itself is challenging Senua to earn her right to exist in this world. This was most evident in the final moments of the preview, which saw Senua attempting to free a prisoner from a group of Vikings. Her action sparked a prison break, engulfing the area in smoke, blood, and screams. I had to guide Senua through an onslaught of foes, some wielding traditional weapons like axes and swords, while others used torches to spew fire. Much like the first game, Senua doesn't face more than one enemy at a time, so huge battles are structured as a series of back-to-back duels.
That's
You'd think
inaccurate.
a decision like this would make...
What?
It's just inaccurate. He said, much like the first game, Senua does not face more than one enemy at a time.
People in the first
Yeah,
one.
that's just inaccurate. What he said is that we're not going to take some games media douche his word for it. That's not Ninja Theory saying that. That's some dude who ain't played Hellblade 1.
Hey, he don't have to be all that.
You're right. He ain't gotta be a douche, but he's inaccurate.
He's very inaccurate in what he said, though, because I remember vividly playing that game and was pissed off that I had 3 people or 4 people attacking me at one time, and the combat ain't good enough for that to happen. I remember that.
Exactly.
See, that part was wrong, but this particular sequence, as he was saying, instead of fighting multiple enemies, it's just constant one-on-one battles, one after the other.
Mm-hmm.
And that comes back to See, GameSpot said this, but so did Polygon, and
But,
so
but they
did
all played the same preview. They all played the same
Oh,
preview,
yeah,
so they were all
said-
be saying the same thing.
So it wasn't the developers. It was this guy at this. I almost called him a cuck. This guy who wore my bad. So it wasn't the studio. So we are making the assumption based on inaccurate information that the game is only featuring one-on-one combat.
We're making the assumption that this game basically plays like this one section when it probably doesn't. They
Right.
played a piece of the game, and I guarantee you I won't even guarantee you, but there is probably a good chance that there are other parts of this game that's going to have you fighting multiple people at one time, because that's how the first one had.
I agree with Forte. If you played the first half of Hellblade 1, you had very limited combat sections. And then, like, I think in the first one, you only fight one person. Then in the second one, you fight like 2 or 3 people. And then, but it's like they're very limited. After you take forever doing a bunch of puzzles, you'll get some combat. In the latter half of the game, that bridge, you're fighting like you're fighting for your life to get off this bridge with like
at the end of the
multiple
game?
enemies.
Oh my God.
Yeah, multiple enemies coming at you. Like the back half of the game was like the reverse of the first half, where the first half is a ton of puzzles and a little bit of combat, and then the second half of the game is outside of that section that's like in the dark, where it's just like you can't see anything. Mostly combat and then a few puzzles. So it's and then when that mostly combat but a few puzzle sections, you were fighting multitudes of enemies. The dude's just wrong. So
Wow.
Yeah.
So that it's always really unfortunate when that's like me covering fucking an NBA game. I do not know what the hell I'm talking about. Like, why am I doing this review? Why would
they
you do the
shooting
review
so
if you didn't play the first
Why
one?
are they shooting
Like,
so far away from the rim?
what's going on, man? But I did want to. Phase 23 BKNY, he asked the panel. He's like, why do you guys? Okay, wait. Why does the panel own an Xbox if their games are day one on PC and you guys got PCs? Now I answered for all of you. I essentially said, Slow-Mo's Xbox is his kids.
Yep.
Nautical and I got an Xbox Series X to play Destiny 2 at 60 FPS with Taz, because Taz did not play on PC. And then Singer got his Xbox to play Destiny 2 with his friends. But once crossplay became a thing, he switched over to primarily playing Destiny 2 on PC. I did tell him that, like, I'll ask you guys in case you had different answers, though.
Nope.
Yeah,
That's
that's accurate.
Very accurate.
Xbox Series S is my kid's Xbox. I play on PC.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, I got it literally just for Hellblade 2, and then when the cross-play platform thing came out, I immediately checked out. So yeah, there we go.
Yeah, so it's I mean, and I don't sell anything, so that's why I still have my console.
Yeah,
Same here.
I'm not selling my console, man.
Yeah, I'm just not doing
keeping
it.
that.
Like, it'll fucking sit there and pick up dust, and I'll but I'll never sell anything. I just don't have the patience to try and sell things online or go to the store. I'm not going to get cucked at GameStop. No offense, Nautical. All right, so I did want to play this clip.
I would say I'll probably sell mine once I build my daughter a PC, but I think she's still too young for that.
Oh, the cutie
So the
pie.
Xbox is fine. Yeah, she wants an all white and pink PC, Luca.
She's so
Oh,
cute. Make sure
that's
you take a picture of it when you make it, so I can be like, I wish this was my PC.
Hey,
Yeah,
whenever
we'll
you
do,
make
we'll
it,
do.
let me know. I'll make sure I contribute with the Razer mouse and keyboard and the mouse pad to make the pink aesthetic look even better. That'll be my
Oh, let's
gift.
go.
That'll be my gift. If you
Thank
want
you.
to do it.
All right, so
We'll do.
I want to play this clip from Ham. So shout out to Ham Solo. Here's this YouTube. You guys should check it out. Xbox guys. So if any Xbox guys are in the chat who like to follow more Xbox people, you guys should check him out. But I'm gonna play this clip, and then I want to hear your guys' perspective on it and what you think based on what was said. Shout out to Relax Paul Gaming RPG. Appreciate the dono, my guy, saying it's been confirmed that the combat is one-on-one. Just Google it. It's mentioned in a few articles. All right.
Man, I fell asleep reading that name. That's a very relaxing name you got there, sir.
Hellblade 2 Combat. Hellblade 2 combat looks beautiful. Combat animations are beautiful. Okay, the reason. Oh, okay. No, he's right. I think.
But
Hold
the
on.
developer said it.
Let's see here.
That's what's up.
I'm sorry, I gotta find it.
No, you're good. If that's the case, shout out to the chat. Hey, That's what we talking about. We appreciate y'all
Thank you
because
so much
you
for
did
Singer.
your
Why
research.
did you just write a fucking quote? Like what is it? Singer, you gotta get better at this, man. You gotta get better at this, okay?
Oh, so they actually changed it from the first game to make it like
Nice.
this. Okay.
That's what's up. I'm happy they did that because it sucked in the first one with the limited combat skills you had.
I would have
Right.
preferred
Thank
they
you,
just
Paul.
made her more
Better
adept at
combat.
fighting, just
Yeah.
better combat. Because look, shout out to Luca. It had been about a year and a half ago when we were discussing this, and we were discussing why they haven't shown combat yet. And it was like we had all these scenarios, but it was Luca that was like, "Well, what if they just haven't shown it because the combat really isn't that much different?" If I would say anything, this is actually a step back from what the first game had, because the first game, this doesn't seem like it's going to be more difficult than the first game. The first game, you had to deal with multiple enemies. If you don't have to deal with multiple enemies and you're just fighting people one-on-one, I think that's, I mean, I haven't played it, but I feel like that would be easier.
Well, I was technically right. So the
You
person
were
also
technically
was,
right. You just didn't.
also-
Yeah,
try.
we need you to do
Yeah,
your research and get better at it.
but also the person in the video when he told you it's one-on-one duels. So he was actually telling you the truth then.
He was, but he also was telling a lie because the one-on-one duels were not like that in
Yeah.
Hellblade 1, which would lead,
Yeah.
since he was inaccurate on that aspect, led us to believe that he was like, okay, whoa, Blade X, what are you doing, buddy? You actually,
What are you doing, man?
You got you got that if you got that wrench next to your name, you got to be careful, guys. So.
Albert G says I'm always right, and Blade X blocks him. What is happening here?
Oh man!
Actually, rightfully so. No, I'm just kidding. We unblocked you, Albert. I know it was a mistake. It was a mistake for sure. Thank you, Paul. We really do appreciate the oh my goodness. I'm sorry, guys. I'm so tired. The correction. We appreciate the correction, and the additional information.
Detective Paul out here.
No.
Let's go.
Thank you. So he was just like, just Googled it, and he said the reason why it's one-on-one is because we wanted Senua to feel vulnerable. So that's Senua Saga's Hellblade 2 combat director Benoit? Okay. Anyway,
Benoit,
so
probably.
they officially said
Benoit Macon.
All right. Taz is like, come back to Destiny 2. We can just move on from that. So anyway, shout out
Hey, we got to finish this out, Luca. One more,
What out?
3 more months.
This ain't Halo. I ain't Master Chief. I ain't gotta finish the fight.
We ain't
No
say
worries,
finish the
Blade
fight.
X,
We
no
just need
worries,
to
man.
finish the last raid.
We actually, my bad on that. It's the sleep deprivation. I'm usually better at not calling out the people who accidentally block people, because it's happened multiple times before. So I'm really sorry about that. Again, I'm kind of running on fumes right now because of I had to wake up at like 2:30 a.m. to catch my flight to Florida, and then getting the flight back like less than 24 hours. So my bad, man. I didn't mean to call you out either. I'm sorry about that. But yeah, let's go ahead and play this clip.
And he was just speaking the truth, you know. It's okay.
Shut up.
Right, can you guys hear this?
Yeah.
Where was the criticisms when Sony bought all the companies that they bought? Nobody cared. But like Xbox starts spending lots of money because they have lots of money and it matters. Do you really think that if PlayStation could have bought Activision, that they would not have bought Activision? They absolutely would have. They absolutely would have bought Activision. If that landed at their front door, they would have been fighting for it. They probably tried to.
So, what do you guys like? What are your thoughts? This is a out of context clip from Destin and such. And so, you know, of course, you need the full context to get the full scope of what he was saying, and perhaps some additional nuance there. That being said, at face value, what do you think of that? What do you think of what he said? Why do you think? And why do you think he said it? And I will be right back. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
If Sony could buy Activision, I think they would as well. I think they definitely would have wanted to, because when you look at like the details of their deal for Call of Duty, they actually were giving away. So typically, you when you license a game on PlayStation, you're giving Sony a 30% cut. Activision had so much leverage in this situation that they got it down to like 15 or 12%, something like that. Like now, instead of only getting 12 to 15% of this game that sells the most, the highest on your platform every single year, you would have been getting 100% of that. They definitely would have done it if they could. But unlike what Dustin said, they probably tried. No, they didn't. We know the details of how Microsoft acquired Activision. One thing, what we know is that Activision was the one that was actively looking for someone to acquire them. They never went to Sony because they knew that Sony could not afford it. They went to Meta first, and Meta said no. Then they went to Microsoft, and Microsoft got a deal that worked. And so that is the long and short of it. I don't why he said it. I think he's basically wondering why people complain about Microsoft acquisitions, but don't complain about Sony acquisitions. And I mean, I can't speak. I don't complain about either. So I can't speak really for other people. I don't know why they complain about those things, but from what they do say, whether they're being honest or not, they say it's because Microsoft actually has the ability to buy everything if they so choose, and Sony does not. Neither does Nintendo, neither does anyone else that is a relevant player in gaming industry have the ability to buy literally everything if regulators didn't stop them like Microsoft does.
Yeah. I think that's in response, because I'm trying to put it into context, and I would imagine it's when they initially bought him, and remember there was all the outrage over, Microsoft buying all this stuff up. It's a monopoly. They have a monopoly on all the games. They're just throwing their money around, and he's trying to equate it to Sony purchased most of the studios they have. All of them, probably. I don't. Correct me if I'm wrong, but most of them were bought. I know Naughty Dog was purchased.
Mm-hmm.
Guerrilla probably purchased as well.
They didn't buy all of them, but they definitely acquired the majority of them.
Yeah. And because they had a huge buying spree way back when. Because if you remember, they used to have Zipper Interactive, and a bunch of other. They went on a huge closure spree that no one seems to remember when some studios closed down. They're like, PlayStation 1. Yeah, they closed down a whole bunch of them. The thing is, he's trying to equate the two, but there is no equator. It's like, look, Sony could buy them if they wanted to, but they don't have the capital to do so. So naturally, they can't. It's like when people were wishing Sony to buy Take-Two, they don't have the capital for that because it would be ridiculously expensive. And Activision was the one that approached Microsoft. Microsoft didn't want even looking at them, but it's too good of a deal to pass up. Plus, you have to make all the concessions. So I just think it's taken out of context, but it's within the context of people just complaining that Microsoft is buying shit. So yeah.
Forte, what are your thoughts?
I mean, PlayStation definitely probably tried to purchase. I mean,
no, they didn't.
Oh, I'm just saying. I'm saying you could probably say that they tried to. They just.
But it wouldn't be accurate. Like that's what he's throwing that out there, and it's not true.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's in general. Xbox just. I mean, everybody know. So okay, so the biggest thing is people are still kind of shocked that Microsoft did what they did. Purchasing Bethesda was the thing that was like, whoa, okay. And then I remember after that happened, we, as we always do as a gaming community and on podcasts, we talked about like, hey, who could be next? Could Take Two be on the books? Could EA be on the books? And we was like, well, Bethesda came off the books, so I wouldn't be shocked that something else came off. But then when we would get to something like Call of Duty and Activision, it's like, yeah, no way. That's just way too big. And then we look at the market caps, like that's like $80 million to buy them or something. And then it happened. And guess what? It only happened because Microsoft, being one of the biggest in gaming, and other people not being interested in it, was the golden goose that was able to do it. So everybody can't make moves like this. That's why Matt Booty can come out and I'm not going to say what you usually call him, slow-mo, but that's why Matt Booty came out and said, let's spin them into the ground, because that's the thing that Microsoft can do. They, like, everybody talks about Game Pass and everything, and like how it could be a loss leader, and how they could basically in perpetuity support Game Pass if they wanted to. They could support anything in perpetuity if they want to. It just comes down to if the bean counters at Microsoft are going to allow it to happen like that. So when it comes to Microsoft and purchasing things, it's basically what they want and what regulators won't let them have. Where to other companies, PlayStation could go out and buy a publisher right now, and the scrutiny won't be as high as it is with Microsoft because of all the stuff that they bought, plus the amount of money Microsoft has. So, you could say anybody could buy anything, but what realistically could happen, it's two different things. And it just sounds good to say that, if PlayStation would have surely bought them if they wanted to. Microsoft just came with a bigger number. Well, no crap. And Microsoft, and trust me, Sony ain't have the money. First of all, Sony probably would have had to mortgage half of everything they had to even get into that conversation. This is a company we remember not even a decade ago was selling off buildings and closing full divisions inside of Sony because they wanted to.
They're still doing that now. They're still doing it now. Closed the London studio.
Exactly. So months ago. So that's a company that's still doing that. Completely sold off their PC business, completely scuttered a whole bunch of other things that they had going, selling all their buildings and stuff. So that doesn't mean that Sony's in a bad position. It just means that they're not in the position to make a move like this. And for people to come out and say that they would have done it, sure, they would have done it if they had the money, but do they have it? Not in equity cash like Microsoft has. So I don't know. It's interesting how he put it like that, but context is the key.
I have a thought, and I think a lot of people might disagree with me, but what if Microsoft acquiring ABK turned out to be a mistake? Not in the sense that like they couldn't afford it or whatever, but now that they have acquired them, and for the amount of money they acquired them for, segments of Microsoft that are not under Microsoft Gaming are now having a say in how the gaming division does business.
Oh yeah, definitely. I agree.
You have regulators. Hold on. You have regulators that traditionally have never said a word about acquisitions in gaming. Now stepping up, going, whoa, what y'all doing? And now that Microsoft, whoever they acquire next, is going to be subject to regulation from the FTC, from the EU, from the other organization in Britain that escapes me. And it's just, if they didn't acquire ABK, if they told Activision, nah, like Meta did, but instead bought like EA, would we be having these conversations? Would they be putting their games on PlayStation? Because when they bought ZeniMax, they were talking we keeping all this exclusive over here talk. And then after ABK, now the floodgates are open and they just giving it away to everybody. So I just wonder if they didn't buy ABK, if things would be better.
I
But
just think
No,
oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
it's pretty obvious, right? The bean counters at Microsoft would have, the CFO and all them would have sat in their boardroom with their thing and gone, okay, so we're buying Activision for 69 billion. Okay, cool. We got the money. All right, nice. How do we recoup the cash back? And they came up with the plan. It's like, well, you keep it everywhere and then you just make your money back. They probably ran the numbers, I don't know in what way or who, but it must have made financial sense. Because Microsoft wouldn't just spend 69 billion if it didn't make sense to them at the top. It doesn't matter what Xbox thinks, because it's Microsoft's money. So Microsoft thought, we can do this. So they must have a reason. They saw something and was like, we can make the money back. Maybe they were like, well, let's put a 15-year plan to make the money back. I don't know. But and also
I think they want their money back far sooner than 50 years.
yeah. No, I
So-
said 15, but also on
Oh,
the
15, but even sooner than that. I think Amy Hood wants her money back as soon as possible. Like she's
Yeah.
like a bill collector calling, like, "Hello, hi." This phone call is being recorded. Like
to also hear the part of the regulator thing. Thing is, they're going after big tech. Now, you think of who is big tech. Like, for example, the European Union made Apple get down on its knees and get rid of that stupid ass lightning cable. All iPhones now have to be able to, you have to use USB-C. That's it. That's the standard across Europe. Apple can't get away with it. They were like, you want to still do business here? You'll use USB-C. You ain't getting away with that lightning cable shit. So they're attacking directly Apple. You see Facebook, Meta is getting thrown under the bus. Google is getting hounded in multiple different court cases. Hoaglaw did a really good video on this. Like all the big giant tech companies are being targeted right now heavily by these regulators, and Microsoft is no exception, being one of the big tech companies. So it makes sense in the future, including this, if they try throwing around big amounts of money to buy shit, the regulators are going to actively work against them because they don't like them.
I don't disagree with you with anything you're saying. What I'm saying is that would they even be on the regulators' radar for considering ZeniMax Media was acquired for like what's $8 billion, and that didn't make a peep. And the people at the FTC that were there when that happened were also the same people that are there with ABK. So I just wonder if they didn't do Activision, but then say bought EA for half of what they spent, would we be having these conversations?
The only one I think that wouldn't have this conversation is probably Take-Two, and smaller ones like Ubisoft and like Square.
But Take-Two, I think, is bigger than.
Well,
at this point.
The reason I say Take-Two wouldn't be as big of an issue than Activision was. The thing with Take-Two, well, maybe Take-Two just because they got NBA too. So I kind of got to think about NBA in this too, because that's kind of why I think the whole thing with EA would kind of be a mess, because most of their games are all licensed. Most of their games that sell a lot are licensed, and I don't think they'll be able to get away. Like, would they be able to keep the licensing of something like Madden and FIFA and stuff if they're trying to keep it exclusive? Now,
I don't think they would have made those games exclusive.
Yeah, if they keep them on other platforms,
they would have made like
easier.
BioWare. They would like Hazelight Studios games, BioWare's games. They would make those exclusive. But the basically the main money makers of FIFA and what is it called now? FC Sports. Yeah, whatever the soccer game is, that and Madden would stay multi-platform. Because
I think the only reason Take-Two, if you want to think of a big one, like on the level of Activision was so scrutinized because Call of Duty is a yearly thing. So that's yearly revenue that is being impacted. on a very, very high level. Like you're talking about billions of dollars every year. Whereas, I mean, the last Grand Theft Auto came out in 2011, and it still sells, but it doesn't sell like it sold before. That number's so down now. When you're talking about microtransactions, that's a whole nother deal when it comes to online. But Grand Theft Auto would be a game that, I can see that easily going exclusive to whoever purchased it if they wanted it to, because it's like a one-time, it's going to impact you for like 1 to 2, maybe 3
Right.
years, because it's a one-time purchase for that generation, compared to Call of Duty. It's every freaking year.
It's an annual release, yeah.
It is an annual release, and that's hurting you
by the way, I
more.
was wrong. EA has a bigger market cap than Take-Two. So Take-Two is 25 billion and EA is 34 billion.
It's 34 billion.
So let me switch my example. Take-Two then, because Take-Two is actually would be less than. Well, you still have to make good with. You can't just take the market cap and say, right, like, hey, here's 26 billion. That's what you're worth. No, you got to go higher to make it worthwhile. I would say probably that's maybe too much. Maybe 35.
30. That deal. Give them more.
But also to that point, before when they first decided to purchase it, as player already mentioned in the chat, they were already given a mandate, the FTC, to be more aggressive to big tech, because before they purchased this, Google had multiple cases ongoing with the FTC and other people. So, like Silicon Valley and all these massive tech companies, it's been going on for like the past 4 or 5 years now. Like Apple is getting slapped all over the place. They're looking for opportunities to go, we can get them here, or we can get them here, or we could do this to them, because they've been gunning for all the big ones. Like it seems like Meta has been in and out of court like the past couple of years now. And Google, the same thing, and Microsoft's turn. Apple has taken a shit ton of heat. And obviously, if Microsoft says, "Oh, we're spending 69 billion," you don't think these regulators are like, "Word?"
Yeah.
Yeah, Microsoft. If it was Apple spending 69 billion, they would have done the exact same thing to Apple. They would have done it to Google, Meta. They would have done the exact same thing. They would have gone, hold up, you ain't getting away with this shit. Come here. And so, I mean, it is what it is. Big tech is currently, that's why it's the worst time to spend acquisitions now in big tech, because you are going to get scrutinized all over the place. So it makes it harder to buy stuff, you know.
Yeah. Is Luca back yet?
Nope.
Okay.
Which means
let me get these then. Shout out to JD Gamer with the $10 super chat. He says Windows was always the plan. It remains the plan. Watch the plan unfold. Panel, answer this one question. What happens in 15 years when we no longer have the need of console? What happens to Sony Windows? And then shout out again one more time with the $20 super chat. Thank you again, homie. Let me be clear. For those that don't know, there's history. Microsoft doesn't care about consoles the same way Sony does. Microsoft owns Windows, and their plan is to win in gaming. That's how they win. Consoles go away in 15 years, Windows. So, what you guys got to think of? First of all, what you think about what he said about 15 years and the direction that Microsoft is heading when it comes to not caring about the consoles and it's all about Windows?
Well,
I don't think consoles go away in 15 years. I mean, I don't think they will stay indefinitely, but I don't think they go away in 15. I think as long as there are people willing to spend money on them, and as we see now in 2024, people are still willing to spend money on consoles. I mean, it may be different in what we consider a console to be. Like technically, a Nintendo Switch is still a hybrid. So, like, because a Nintendo Switch is still a console, it's still considered a console. It's a part of the console market, and it is going to be, when it's all said and done, the most sold purchased console in gaming history. But you know, I expect a PlayStation 6 to come out and a PlayStation 7, And what that PlayStation 7 turns out to be might be very different than what we see with the PlayStation 5 right now.
Slow-mo is precisely on point because
Mhm.
I think this Xbox going handheld, Nintendo was already handheld. Watch PlayStation go the same way. So I reckon the PlayStation 7, the next Xbox after whatever comes out this time, and Nintendo will just still do what it does. I think we're just moving to more of a handheld gaming. That's what it's going to be because the technology will get so good, the chips will get so small because obviously they're already making the chips smaller and smaller, and with
Mhm.
better technology, they're going to be able to cram way more into these little boxes. Like you could see, the iPhone is already playing PS4 games now. Like that's now. So imagine in 15 years, the iPhone will be able to play probably top of the line games at that point. So if you're able to do that on a phone, on a dedicated handheld, I think that would probably be the way it goes. Handheld gaming, baby. That's hybrid. And then eventually, once cloud and all that is in a better position, that'll be the future, far future. But yeah, I think that's the way it's gonna go. Hybrid. Like the console under your TV, that will go away, but consoles won't.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. Oh, and another one. Shout out to JD Gamer with the $2 super chat says, by the way, hey Forte. Hey, what's going on, JD? Hey, JD. Hey. First of all, shout out to JD Gamer. Everybody give him congratulations. He proposed to his fiance this past week. So
Congratulations,
man. He came in there, showed me the pictures of him having a good time on the cruise with the new fiance, and I'm super proud that man decided to make that decision, because that's like the start of a whole new life for a person. So congratulations on that too, bro. But with that being said, go ahead.
Yep. All right. So an exclusive released earlier. Jez Corden, he did announce it on Twitter. Ex Sarah Bond has set up a new team dedicated to preservation and forward compatibility. Now we know this is a big thing for Xbox. What you need to know: emails received by Windows Central, confirmed by Microsoft as genuine. She recently briefed the team on various topics. In the emails, she reiterated Microsoft's plan to build new Xbox hardware, focusing on delivering the biggest technical leap ever in a generation. Now, you take that with a massive grain of salt. Sarah Bond also revealed that Microsoft has set up a dedicated team to future-proof digital Xbox game libraries across future hardware paradigms to further build on Xbox's strong history of delivering backwards compatibility. The Xbox has become Diablo 4's most prominent platform, but I mean that's because a lot of people have fell off on PC.
Yeah.
So it looks like they are going to. Let me read through this. But there are so many huge. Okay. So she literally said, "It's been nearly 6 months since we came together as an organization. Our collective achievements in that time frame are tremendous. Everyone should feel incredibly proud of what we've achieved and excited about our opportunities ahead. We are moving full speed ahead on our next generation hardware, focused on delivering the biggest technical leap ever in the generation, which we all know was probably cap. So it's basically they're going for a increase on what Xbox backwards compatibility is now. I'm trying to see if there's anything new. So it just looks like they formed a new team to make games forward compatible. So all games from now will be able to enjoy it in the future. So it looks like it doesn't matter where you go, your Xbox library is following you from now on. So, what do you think?
I
Oh, boy.
wonder if they can get the licensing done correctly, because what we're talking about here is this new handheld that they're working on is more of like a PC handheld, and when you're working with third-party publishers and developers who also have created a console version of that game on Xbox and a PC version of that game as well, I could see a particularly like a publisher feeling some kind of way about those games being available on a device that's technically a PC handheld, and therefore if someone feels like, well, I want to buy this game, or I would have bought this game and double dipped instead I don't have to do that. I have the my access to that game from the entitlement I have from Xbox. Now, for us as gamers, that's fine. That's great for us. For developers and publishers, I think that would be a problem, and I think that there'll be some pushback on the licensing front of, we're not going to allow you to do that with this game. You can't make a merge the stores of the Xbox console and the PC side of things, and not let there be someone having to buy that game again. And this hasn't been a problem with them in the past, because the Microsoft store on PC sucks. The games, like plenty of games, the majority of games that come out on PC skip the Microsoft Xbox store. They go on Steam, they go on Epic Games Store, they go on GOG. They don't go to the Microsoft store. Now, that's changing, but it's changing not because the store is better. It's not better. It still sucks. It's not changing because people are buying games over there. It's changing because of Game Pass. So if a game goes to the Game Pass, then it gets a native version in the Xbox store, because there needs to be a version on PC that people can play that game with. They're not trying to play the Xbox version of the game with no options. So it's just, that's what I'm concerned with. I think it seems as if, and with Sarah coming out and speaking on it, publicly, that they may be making progress to kind of make that work. I don't know, but I think that is a huge issue. A hurdle they have to get over in order to make that happen.
Yeah, I'd say she's probably speaking more for their first party, because obviously you own everything first party, right? You own the IP, you own the licenses. So because you can't guarantee. Let's say I bought Hogwarts Legacy. You can't guarantee that's going to be there, even though it's in my Xbox library. In 20 years down the line, you can't guarantee, Hogwarts Legacy will still be a thing. Who owns the IP, etc., etc. Who has the rights? Because that's the problem they discovered with trying when they went Xbox 360 and original Xbox. Like, they tried to bring a lot of the games over, but either the companies who own the rights have closed down, they've changed ownership. Some of the games back in the 360, you don't even know who owns the IP. You can't track it down. So it's a lot of things get lost in the shuffle. So what they could get, they got, but now it looks like they are dedicating an entire team from now forwards into the future. All these games will come with you, which seems really, really good, because I'm a big fan of preservation. I mean, the problem is Nintendo doesn't really do it, and when they do, they charge you for it, and then a lot, and then you have PlayStation, which seems to have abandoned it altogether. I mean, you get the odd PS2 game, I guess, from PS Plus Ultimate or whatever it is. But you can't, if you wanted to play a PS1 game now, you only have two options: an emulator on PC, or you actually go out and buy a PS1 and get the game and play it. Now, one is way more expensive than the other. So, I mean, it's good. They're looking after game preservation. It has its pitfalls because it's all digital. What happens if the servers get hacked? Everything gets deleted. I mean, it's it's a good idea, but there's pitfalls. What do you think, 40?
No, I think you guys are both absolutely right. It just mostly comes back to the fact that with stuff like this, it's it's what the consumers allow to happen to an extent. Kind of like Xbox has. That's the one thing that we really championed about Xbox going out and not only supporting, preservation in games and stuff, also making those games better when it came to like, especially like the older original Xbox games or Xbox 360 games having FPS boost and everything like that. But when it comes to like Nintendo, people as much as we hate that they go about doing it the way they do it, people support it. It's all about what people support. It's what the market demands at this point. So when it comes to like just hardware in general, it just ultimately really truly just comes back to just that. If the hardware is in a good place and when people will support it. If it's not in a good place, people will find other things. Or they'll find ways to play the games that they want to play on the platforms that they want to play them on. So I think backwards compatibility, especially with Xbox, I kind of feel like they kind of abandoned it a little bit. Like I do see the fact that all games going forward will still persist, but there's still a large library of 360 games and regular Xbox games that a lot of people would love to see move forward. And like Slow-Mo said, I wonder if a lot of that has to do around licensing, if they could get that type of stuff back, because we see games like, even their own games like Forza Motorsport 7 fell off. Just not, is it 7? Yeah, 7 is off the store because of licensing and everything like that.
Yeah, it's because, but hang on, the thing with racing games is really difficult because
I know it's very difficult.
You have to approach all these manufacturers, and let's say you want to renew the license on a Ferrari 458,
and they want the money like it's a brand new Ferrari.
No, if they just tell you to piss off, then you can't use the Ferrari in the game.
You can't use it. Yeah.
So it's like racing games will always depreciate. That's why you can't. That's why they have to be removed, because they use licensed music. Literally everything in the game is licensed. The racetracks, the teams, the cars, the tires, the manufacturers.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a huge licensing issue. Racing games. That's why I appreciate them. But that must be hell to pay. And that's why they got so much money.
It also might be a fact, too, that, like you said, it's not the fact that they don't, especially around racing games. It may not be the fact that they may tell them to piss off and tell them they don't want them to relicense it. It might be the fact that they want them to just do another one because they make more money off of the licensing when they do new games and stuff, because, you're asking for a license for an older game. Of course, that license probably isn't going to be as valuable it's still valuable, but it's not going to be as valuable as like a brand new one, because they could charge top dollar for that licensing every year when they do release one. So it might just be the conversation like, hey, let's push for a new game. And that might be another reason why they take so much longer to make. But like I said, especially when you talk about PlayStation, I mean, it's kind of been weird with them. I think PS3 is just stuck in the Stone Ages. You're never going to see anything around PS3 outside of emulation because of the architecture they went with the sale, and not being something that's completely wildly different than pretty much any other generation they've done before. I would like to see them do a native download for PS1 and PS2 games. That would be something I would like to see them actually implement inside of their PlayStation Premium subscription plan, or just in PlayStation Premium in general. But PC is going to always be the last bastion when it comes to like your games always mattering, where you always have the ability to like download or play them wherever you had them. And the fact that you can still, even in Steam with an offline mode, you still have access to your games and stuff, or you have places like GOG that give you DRM free games and you still have access, and you can get the actual data file for games and stuff like that. So That's where ownership really comes in at, and hopefully consoles in the near future, not in the distant future, really catch up to that, because not only are these games costing more money, but we need to get to the point where if we're going to cut out the physical market, then you're going to save all this money on not putting out, disc or physical goods or anything like that. I understand these are corporations and prices of games have gone up, but there should be some type of relief on the consumer side if we're asking us to go to an all digital future when it comes to these games too, because this stuff does get expensive over the course of years.
I think what makes game preservation easier on PC is because these are not for profit people who are just doing game preservation for the most part, but also the people who are uploading these games onto PC, they don't care about the license and who owns the IP and the rights. They
Right.
just put it there and you could download and use it. Now, Microsoft and PlayStation couldn't get away with something like that if they just said, fuck EA, we'll put all the FIFAs on there. Like they can't do, they don't have the liberty to do that because they have rules and stuff. Whereas the people on PC who do these things, it's like, I don't care who owns this game. It's going up on here and you could play it. Plus, also, PlayStation probably has a problem with PS1 and PS2 because if you remember, a lot of their games, the vast majority, weren't first party. Most of the PS2 games, especially the most popular ones, are all third party games. They just got the exclusive to them. So you would have to approach people who own the games, again, like people like EA, or people who don't exist anymore. And that's the problem with 360. It's like if you ask for, oh, I want Battle of Midway. Guess what? Midway's gone. Who owns the rights? Nobody knows. It's over. And like the most popular games, to say, on PlayStation were third party. So they would have to make a deal with Square for the old Final Fantasies. They'd have to make a deal with Rockstar for the old GTAs. You'd have to make all the old games. You'd have to make deals all over the place, which all cost money. Now, unless you could charge a premium for the games, because you're not going to give them for free. You just spend all this money getting all these licenses, so you have to pass the charge onto the consumer. So then you're now charging for these backwards compatible games, and you run into a whole bunch of issues. So I think they realized it's more trouble than it's worth, and they're like, just screw it, whatever.
Yeah.
What's up? I'm back.
What's up?
So thanks for holding it down, boys. I appreciate it. Thanks for leading that topic, Singer. I appreciate that. Thank you, JD. I appreciate the donos, man, the big donos, and congratulations. And thank you, Nautical, for reading them, especially since he directly referenced you. So,
oh yeah, definitely.
All right. So a couple days ago, IG in France decided to post an article where they took shots at the Stellar Blade developers. They were like, they called Eve a sexualized doll and accused the developers of never having seen a woman, even though the developer,
oh my God,
I think the main dude is married to a chick, and then Eve is based off of a real woman, and there are women who have those kinds of physical proportions that exist in the real world, despite whatever whatever delusion these people seem to be under, that women don't. There's like no women that look like that. Eve does not even have exaggerated portions like some other characters may have, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, but anyway, so recently IGN France produced and published a preview of Stellar Blade containing an offensive passage that should have never been kept. Mind you, it was written and then an editor went over it and just didn't feel the need to exclude that portion. I think that they they didn't think that anyone would see what they had to say, because it was IG in France, but Google Translate is a thing, baby. So the text has now been edited, and here's our official apology to the Shift Up Corporation studio staff. Also, please note that IGN France is an independent branch of IGN, and that IGN's editorial staff had nothing to do with this incident.
I like how they tried to lie, though. They tried to lie initially and say it was a mistranslation. So now they're admitting that they lied to cover their butts.
I know, they're ridiculous, man. The original text of the Stellar Blade preview contained comments that were out of place. While it was never our intention, okay, it was never our. Those were very disrespectful things to say. So saying it was not our intention to disrespect Shift Up or the employees or their work, we recognize that the phrase taken in the literal sense was inappropriate and we regret it. To anyone at Shift Up Corporation who felt personally targeted and insulted by this passage, we are truly sorry and sincerely apologize. Now, I do think it's great that they issued an apology. Again, I don't think it ever should have been included in the initial article in the first place. But do you think that IGN coming out and pressuring IGN France to issue an apology in the first place is showing that there's a bit of a change in the landscape of the gaming industry in terms of how they approach these kinds of topics when it comes to sexism, homophobia, transphobia, these their ideas of what it could possibly be, right? And like the sexualization of female characters in these games, because like they definitely were not apologizing about that, all that shit they said about Hogwarts Legacy, all that slander that they put out. You know what I'm saying? There was no apologies issued after all of the bullshit articles came out, all the fake reviews, because there was this one article where it was very clear that the person did not bother to play the game at all, but they were still allowed to give a review, right? So, or at least an opinion piece, their impressions, whatever, right? Like, no apologies issues. And then the game did do well with gamers, and it also, from the few people who were brave enough to put aside that fear, that ingrained fear that exists within the gaming industry, and it was confirmed by Jeff Grubb that that is a real thing where people are afraid to speak up and speak out because they don't want to be lambasted by their peers in the gaming industry, right? You know, it also did well because due to the scores and like financially did significantly well, right? I think that perhaps despite all the calls for a boycott and all the bitching and the moaning, the fact that that game did so well, I think that perhaps that has started this shift in mentality and in the landscape of how they approach these particular topics and the freedom that they allowed for these writers when issuing their, quite frankly, again, just highly unprofessional rhetoric when they write these articles. You know what I'm saying? Like they are acting as representatives of these corporations that are not doing very well, you know? So, I mean, what do you guys think? Do you think this is the start of a shift in the mindset? I believe it started with Hogwarts Legacy doing well and how that backfired for all the people in this industry who tried to push and claim people were transphobic. I think that the general gamers, people who are not highly ingrained in this kind of in the culture war, so to speak, they're kind of catching wind of the bullshit. They're getting tired of it, and they're not like, you're not gonna call me a fucking transphobe or a homophobe or sexist or um, racist or any of that shit just because I have an opinion that differs from you. Like those are some very heavy words and those are heavy topics, and to see them thrown around and used so trivially, it's disrespectful to the entire concept of them, you know? And I personally think that there's a slow shift in the mindset of the people in the industry. Even Jeff Grubb coming out and admitting like, oh, we were just too scared to say anything about like the Anita Sarkeesian thing, you know what I'm saying? Like I think it shows like a change in mindset. But that's my perspective. What do you guys think?
I don't think I think this is one of those situations where they were doing the status quo and they got really caught all the way out there and they had to do a retraction and apologize. But I think it's still going to be business as usual for a while. I don't think anything is going to shift or change. Games media seems to all have this hive mind mindset, and like and we mentioned it with Jeff Grubb admitting that people did not agree with Anita Sarkeesian, but they did not feel comfortable being able to say that publicly without being chastised by their peers. And I think that has been the status quo for so long, that kind of mentality has been ingrained even further. And so when we see these like mostly pushed by games media, people going after Stellar Blade for are daring to have a character that's traditionally looking the way that she looks. It's like no one's going to take the opposite side in games media, and instead they when we see the piling on, you know how it is when it's just like when people pile on, and then someone just goes way too far. That they're already trying to like one up each other. Like I don't think that's going to change. I think that will continue, unfortunately. And so the next big controversy or big game that comes out, it's going to be more of the same. But who knows if we actually get a retraction this time?
The thing, what's
No, go ahead.
crazy? Well, I was just gonna say because they've done this now to multiple characters, and they keep doing it, but it's like it's like what sells people. It's, for example, let's take the most popular skin lines for League of Legends, right? Because this is a game that should get a lot of the heat from the media, but for some reason they don't care about PC games. But the most popular skin lines are Ari, Lux, and one or two others. The top five are all female characters. And obviously their skins are the ones that sell the most. That's why they get the most skins. And it's like people clearly want to play as these characters and they love the skins. Now people want to put Eve, people like Eve 2B also had this as well. And also, yeah, as Brian says, Lady D from Ari Village. Like, it's really weird how they went after this in such a way, how the industry does it. And I don't know what the shift is, because it seems to be Eastern developers have a particular way of designing female characters. And they're always, the typical super attractive. Whereas if you look at the Western ones recently, you have people like you have Aloy, you have the chick from Fable, for example, the main character, and there's probably a few other examples. And I don't know. It's this. I think in the media there is a narrative and an agenda being pushed, which we know, and they've been pushing this agenda for a while. And some people do disagree, but they can't speak out, because if you do, you'll get labeled with a whole bunch of the labels that they just throw around like candy. And yeah, it's gonna be what it. There isn't gonna be a change, even though they issued an apology because of what someone said. I don't think there's gonna be a change in the industry. I think this is the way it's gonna be, and it's gonna get worse. I think. I don't think nothing's gonna change.
Yeah, apologies don't mean anything when literally the next time something comes out with really good looking yams happens on screen and it happens all over again. How many times have you seen just different publications come out and talk about the looks or the appearance of characters in video games? This isn't the first time anybody at IGN has done this. So I don't see why it would be different in the future. Of course, people are more mindful of things now just due to, internet age and the internet not forgetting stuff and being more prevalent. But it's going to be a conversation that's going to continue to keep happening as long as people have opinions, and those opinions, and they feel like their opinions mean something. Which everybody's opinion means something, but sometimes opinions just don't need to be shared because it's just not right to say those type of things. But as long as they feel brazen enough to do it, you're gonna have situations that are going to come out, and you're going to have retractions and people going back on things that they said and deleted, articles and tweets or messages and all types of stuff. So good for them for doing something like this. And shout out to Greg Grill coming out and saying the same thing that I was thinking when it came to the whole thing with Hogwarts. I kept telling people, like, if games media had balls, they would nominate that game for game of the year, but we all knew that wasn't going to happen. Well, not just to put it in the category, because it definitely belonged in the category, but it wasn't going to happen because everybody's scared of what the consequences of their peers or what they'll be thought of if they do stuff like that. So if they're afraid to do things by just stepping out on a ledge and screaming to the hilltop saying, this is awesome and this is why I believe that, then what do you think is going to happen when another controversy like this isn't even a controversy, it's just people's opinions and stuff. It just happens to be mirrored around, once again, the looks or appearance of, a video game protagonist. So I just feel like it's going to be a consistent thing that's going to keep happening every time this becomes the story.
All right, fellas, I appreciate the answers. Don, is that Don Julio?
Don Julio.
Don fucking Julio?
What?
I
Yeah.
can't believe.
Wow.
Really?
Holy shit, dude. We haven't seen you in like 2 years or
I haven't
something.
seen you since I sniped you in Halo 5.
Oh, snap.
It's been a long time, bro. No, I'm just messing
That's
around.
funny.
Nice
Nice
to
to
see
see you,
you.
buddy. Hope you're doing
Nice to
well.
see you, bro.
All right, so let's get this channel member topic and then fucking skedaddle because I am
We
feeling
only
a
got
little
one?
sick. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh,
Huh?
man.
What'd you
We
say?
only got one? We only got one
Yeah.
this week?
Yeah, right? Like, I don't
Oh,
know.
man.
I don't know what happened.
It's a
Maybe.
quiet
Oh,
week.
I did post it 2 days ago. Maybe that's why I posted it too early. My bad. I just didn't want to forget because I wasn't here yesterday. So. But shout out to Ronald saying anyone who has to keep screaming that they are alpha male is really a beta male. Have you heard about the allegations with Fresh from Fresh and Fit? Walter, aka Fresh, is now scrambling because he ended up getting a passport model pregnant. Yeah, I did see that. Apparently, she started quoting some Bible verses. You better enjoy that fucking child support, my guy.
Better enjoy
You're
it,
cucked.
bro.
You're fucking cucked, dude. Like it's over for you. You wrap that shit up, dude. It was gonna happen eventually. That shit is inevitable. You guys have too much fucking money. You sleep with shallow women. That's like your brand, right? Of course, you're gonna knock one up eventually, and she's not gonna get rid of the kid because that's an easy fucking payday. They should have known better. You know what kind of caliber of women that you mess with. You know what to expect, so you can't be shocked. Dude's a fucking idiot. Now, me personally, I do agree with you. I think that anyone who has to claim that they're an alpha male really is a beta male. I think
Pretty
it comes
much.
down to this, like. If you have to constantly try to assert yourself as something, then there's like the insecurity element there,
Mhm.
in which it's like you're trying to prove to yourself and to others that you actually are this thing. And now maybe this is like a millennial mindset, I don't know, but the way I've heard it done is that you get other people to say these things about you. You know what I'm saying? Because other people having that perspective on you is what actually matters when it comes to this particular topic. Like, I am a bitch, call me a bitch, you know what I'm saying? Like that was my thing. Like, because somebody was like if I called you a bitch, it'd be a problem. And I'm like, well, I am a bitch, so you can call me a bitch. You're not the only person who's called me a bitch. I've been called a bitch before. I am a bitch. Call me a bitch, right? So it's like that kind of mentality there. Or if it's like, if I was like, oh, slow-mo, hey, slow-mo, then he's slow-mo. You know what I'm saying?
What?
Okay.
What are you talking
So,
about?
that's you guys get what I'm saying? In the chat?
No. I don't get what you're saying. I was half paying attention, but
I
still,
knew you
what?
weren't paying attention.
What?
That's why I said that. Because I knew you weren't
No,
paying
it
attention.
wasn't. No, it wasn't. Whatever.
Yes, it was.
Liar.
That's why I didn't say
Liar.
anything. I didn't say anything that made sense because I knew you weren't paying attention.
You lies. I don't believe you.
Well, you can just not believe me. That's fine. But I already knew you weren't paying attention, buddy. So, but yeah, I mean, listen, have fun paying child support, dude. They're about to fucking cuck your pockets, bro. It's about to be bad time. Sucks to suck, I guess. Wrap it up next time. What's up, Chuck? How you doing, buddy? What's up, Tando? But yeah. Anyway, they leaked fucking Dune 2 on Twitter, so I've been watching clips from that. That shit is so goddamn good. Like that movie is so good, man. But yeah, I'm also gonna go see Monkey Man in theaters soon, and then I'm gonna show you guys some pictures from my trip to Florida, and then we can just leave. And I'll shout out the channel members, obviously. So I went to Florida again. So yeah, I went to this convention called Spookala. It was very cool. I met Melissa Barrera, which was very, very cool. She's really nice. I spoke to her for about 5 minutes, and she seems pretty chill, man. Really down to earth. It was my first time meeting a quote unquote celebrity, so that was interesting. I also saw Skeet Ulrich and also Matthew Lillard. I didn't talk to them, but I saw them in person, so that was pretty weird too. I was like, oh wow, like that's pretty cool, man. So that was dope. You know, view of Tampa. And then I got my little art autograph, you know what I'm saying? So that
Let's
was a lot of
go.
it's pretty dope, right?
That's what's
Mhm.
up.
Yeah. So and I like met up with 2 of my friends. So shout out to them. I had a really good time with them. I wish I had stayed, but I'm also happy to be home. You know, I'm not gonna lie. I need to get some rest. So, but shout out to my channel members who were gifted their membership today. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much, Erodimus. A shout out to Arcade, Bless, Drab, Neil, Mass Produce, Kenneth, Miko, Phil, Iman, Gregor, Cassie, John the Don, Michael, Brian, Blade X, Lionel, Fonz, Meat Puppet, Yobi, King Metrotron, Texas Lane, Corey and Bandy and Mar, Damien, Mr. Dolo, Tevin, Ronald, Dealer, MJ, Dirk, Scrotum, Laura Jurenza, Kenny, DC, Big Daddy, Smitty, Negro, Sub Negro, Jazzy, Dom, Duckman, Sycamore, Zion, Brisky, Light Stripe, PTO, Nautical, Jet, Envy, Slomo, and Hannibal. I appreciate you guys for supporting me in this way and being members of the channel. Thank you so much for all of that. Thank you so much to all the super chat support. So thank you, Erodimus, Blade X, Phase 23, BKNY with the big donos, Meat Puppets, Paul for the correction, JD for the big donos. Thank you so much. And yeah, thank you to everyone who hung out in the chat and just talked to us. I really do appreciate it, guys. Thank you. I always appreciate hanging out with y'all, and I'm glad that we got the opportunity to spend this time together. Again, I didn't want to miss the show. I wanted to come home to spend time with you guys, and you know, it's one of those things where it's like I would not have regretted staying longer, but I also wouldn't have I don't regret, like, leaving either, you know what I'm saying? Like, I would have been happy either way, happy to spend time with you guys or happy to hang out more in Florida with my, friends, so I'm good with either. I just really enjoy having these conversations with y'all, and so, yeah, shout out to everyone who listens to the show later, thank you so much, and then a special, special, special shout out to my panel. You guys are absolutely fucking amazing, you're so fantastic. Again, just holding it down and just providing the insight, the additional context, the information, and honestly, perspectives that I don't have. You know, Singer, you're able to provide perspectives when it comes to certain elements of PC gaming, certain games. You're very knowledgeable in that kind of that kind of sense. Slomo, again, we agree most of the time, and you know, I feel like you're able to articulate my points as well. And I really do appreciate that. And even when we have our disagreements, we're able to go back and forth with one another and disagree. And sometimes it gets heated, but at the end of the day, you know, we're still friends. And I think that's really what matters. And Nautical, again, I always love having you on. I always love when you're able to take the time to be here, especially since you're so busy with work and family. So I also love hearing your perspective. And I love the fact that even though we also disagree, it's never a problem, you know, it's never an issue. And you guys have so much grace when it comes to accepting the back and forth. So thank you so much for everything that you do for me. I would not be able to run the show like I do without you guys, and I really, really do appreciate all of you, and I appreciate everyone in the chat and everyone who listens, and you know, just a big group hug for all of us. You know, I got nothing but love for you guys. So be well, you know. And shout out to Chuck with this super chat saying happy belated Luca. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. Yes, Dirty 31. That's what I am, right? So, all right, guys.
Dirty
Outros?
31.
Yeah, that's the girl from Scream. She was in Scream 5 and Scream 6. Go ahead, Poke Forte.
Pokeforte. Yeah, great show. Love the energy, love the compassion. just enjoy the games that you're playing, guys out there, guys and girls. Enjoy the games you're playing. Check us out on DPS Podcast last Thursday or this past Thursday on the Holy Slowmo's channel. Great time. Had really, really good fun topics with him. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to Singer. Happy belated birthday, Luca. Shout out to the homie Slow-Mo for not falling asleep on the show, because I know he's been staying up real late playing video games.
Go to bed.
I have not.
That man was in Twitter the other day, and I mean on Facebook in the Discord the other day, and I was like, Slow-Mo, muted in Discord. So I don't know.
That
what
was in the middle of the day.
No, I'm talking about the other time that you were in there, like late at night, not yesterday. The other time, like a couple of days ago. Slow-Mo likes to fall asleep in Discord, just to put it that way. But
No, I don't.
no, great conversations. Really appreciate it. And Queen 31 is very, 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 very distinguished age to be at, and I'm super proud to see you finally make it to that age, and many more ages to come. And
I'm gonna stop waiting. I'm gonna stop counting until I hit 40.
Dog, when you start waiting to exhale when you hit 40, remember that. But no, great show. And Gaming Forte, YouTube, Twitter, Xbox Live, PlayStation. Check us out. And guys, enjoy your weekend.
All right, Singer.
Yes. Shout out to the panel. Always fantastic time when 40 comes around. Even though I do disagree with Slow-Mo, his knees, weak, arms are heavy. There's vomit on the sweater, mom's spaghetti. And then shout out to Luca. Always. What? Hey, I'm quoting the GOAT. All right.
He's not the GOAT. Double boo, because he's not the GOAT.
Let's go.
Yes. But yeah, shout out to Luca, obviously, hosting the show, having me on. Fantastic. Great panel. My bad. Great chat. And yeah, you can enjoy your games. There we go.
All right, Slow.
Great show as usual. Had a good time. Enjoy your games. As Forte said, watch DPS podcast last Thursday. It was a great time. We got a little slanderous. Forte was wilding. He was wilding doing the show. It was crazy. But yeah, come through, check it out, and enjoy your games. Peace.
I'm not the one that tweeted out a picture of a chihuahua after the show, though. So just remember that.
Yeah, don't nobody know what that mean, though.
Oh, okay. I also just wanted to show this picture of Guts in the Skull Knight real quick. This was also on display at the convention I went to. So really
Nice.
cool shit. Like a lot of stuff like this, like just custom work from people. So very cool stuff, guys. All right, man. I'll catch y'all for another one. One last thing, please, if you are into anime, please check out, what is this series called? Sorry, I just watched it today, so I don't have the name at the top of my head. Oh, it's called Windbreaker. It's on Crunchyroll. Shit is fucking flames. That shit is fire, man. That shit is fucking fire.
Windbreaker.
It's really good. So lots of go ahead.
I will say on the anime note, this season is pretty fire. There's a bunch of big names. This seems to be the year for the big names, because next season is even more fire than this season.
Sweet.
So some of the highlights that you should check out, super popular shows. There's the regular Magic High School season. What is it, 4 now? Yeah, there's that. Super fire series. And then there's also Jobless Reincarnation. Check that out. Fantastic. And Demon Slayer has their new season coming up starts in May for some weird reason. Unlike all the other shows which start in April, but whatever. So if you're a fan of Demon Slayer, look forward to that one coming up. And for the fans of Solo Leveling, they already announced the second season is for October. So
Nice.
we got it again this year. Yes, sir.
Sweet, man. All right. Peace, y'all. Catch y'all later. Yes, we have some great recommendations in the chat. All right, I think I need to go to bed. I'll catch y'all later, y'all. Peace.
Later, guys.